Welcome back to another episode of Weeble Slice. So make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, make sure you got the notification bell clicked so you are notified when the latest video has dropped. And yes, the likes really does help with the algorithm, so just make sure you click that. Now, today, like I mentioned, we on the big screen for a reason. And the fall season has been underway. A lot of shows been dropping, some hits, some misses, and people really gravitating towards certain shows. And this particular show that I would like to discuss today that I feel like nobody's talking about, and it's just flying under the radar, and I think it needs to be in discussion for people to watch. Now, I think this anime is such a hidden gem that most people, they like to build the episodes. They like to let the season ride out and they can binge watch a particular show. So I log into Crunchyroll and I keep seeing this show over and over and over again on my timeline. So I'm like, man, I'm just going to check it out because every other show that I really want to watch right now, I'm all caught up on. And I'm looking at it like, man, I see the premise and I saw it online before. I'm thinking it was something like Squid Games because based on the title, it was called Trillion Game. I'm like, is this like a contest or something? And then once I watched the first 3 episodes, I'm like, hold on. This is not a contest at all. This is not a contest. And as the time progressed for each episode to each episode, I'm like, man, this show is really good. Now, let me go ahead and get into the premise of the show and why it was so good to me personally. And I think you should be checking out as well. Now, Trillion Game, I let the name slip intentionally, by the way, that you guys should be checking this out. And yes, it is on Crunchyroll. And it's mostly all dubbed, actually. If you guys like dub or sub, it does have that option for you. And the reason why I'm talking about this particular show is I went in with the premise that it was going to be like some type of contest or a game. And the Trillion Game is just something these two guys made up. Now, these two guys are the protagonists of this particular show, and they became best friends. We have two guys who are polar opposites when it comes to personality, right? One, he is super charming, personable. He gets along with everyone, has great social skills. Then you have the other one who's kind of the opposite. He lacks social skills, not very personable, but he's highly intelligent and more of a nerd, right? And usually these two don't mesh well, but in this show, it is a recipe for success, right? So in the very first episode, one of the main protagonists, the nerd, he just saved his money up and he got one of the best laptops out there in the universe, right? And he's walking home and come no behold, he gets jumped. And these guys see this laptop like, hey, we want this off you, fam. So you gonna get this butt whipping or you gonna hand it up, one or the other. So while he's getting a beat down, the other protagonist, the one I mentioned, who have great personal skills, came to defend him. He beat up the whole game, right? So once they beat him up, they both was trying to go into college and pursue a particular career. So once they flee the scene, they talk about like, hey, we can't have this, coming out in the public because it can ruin our reputation for college. And the one that's very personal, like, I already saw that the camera can pick up on a fight because we was in the blind spot. And the other guy like, well, anything that may come up, we need to get rid of. So he took out that very expensive laptop, log in, hack some servers, delete all the footage. And that was the very first time they became best friends. Now, this particular anime speaks to anybody who's an entrepreneur, who want to become an entrepreneur, or anybody who have that type of intrigue for that particular category, right? So they go to college. They try to apply for one of the biggest firms in the country. Both of them. The one that's a nerd, they get there. It's like 4 judges, and they really grilling him, and he's super nervous. And he applied for like 100 different companies, but this the one he really wanted. And all the guys that was judging him, like, nah, he not gonna be a good fit. He don't have good personal skills. But the girl that was on the board, like, you know what? I like him. He can be a good engineer for us. Now, he didn't get the job. Obviously, it was 3-1. But the guy who was really personable, his best friend, come right behind him, and he actually just butter him up, all of them, and he get the gig, right? So the nerd one is actually on the windows cleaning up because that's the job he was able to get. And he was really sad about not getting a position as an engineer. So he's cleaning the windows and he like, man, that sucks. I didn't get the job. And lo and behold, guess who on the skyscraper or on the thing cleaning the windows with him, right? Because they in the high rise, outside the high rise. And he's like, what you doing here? He's like, well, I decided to decline the offer, and I decided we should start our own business, and we should do whatever we want to do. We can be the greediest man in the world, and we can play this game called the Trillion Game because we're going to become trillionaires. And I'm like, oh, that's a great premise. So the girl that was on the board saw them clean the windows, and he told her, even in the interview and outside the window, the very personal one, by the way, like, I want you, and I'm going to have you. Just don't worry about it. It's only a moment of time. So as time progressed, right, they start a business, but they need somebody to invest in their business because they don't have any money. So they look out, they keep trying over and over and over again, and nobody want to invest in their business. I'm like, yes, this show is very realistic because I didn't want them just to be successful just out of thin air. I want to see the failure just like I want to see the success. So I'm like, man, this show is really good. So they came across and found the girl who they actually interviewed with, right, and asked for a loan. And they was like, okay, this is our term and conditions. She gave them the term and conditions of the loan she gonna give. She said, I give y'all a certain amount of money, right? Here go the cash right here. But I want 50% of y'all business. Just like Shark Tank. I'm like, this is some Shark Tank stuff, boy. This is so good. So they both discussing with one another, like, we don't want to give up 51% of our business for you can have majority. We still want to have majority stake in our own business. He said, so they're like, we're not going to decline the offer. Let's think about it. Right. So the one that's very personable was very smart. Like, hey, I got an idea. This is what we should do. This is how we're going to get more investors. All we needed was a person to give us an offer. So he decided to leverage his best friend, the nerd guy's skills. Right. So they had a cybersecurity competition going on in the world, the biggest one in the world, right? He like, we're gonna enter into it, and I want you to be part of it. So he like, what's gonna be our name? He found out that the character, when you actually enter the name for the competition, didn't have a cap on characters. So he named his group for the security competition such and such, offer us some amount of money, and we decided to look for more offers inside of the name of the cybersecurity team. So they entered the competition. The competition is 24 hours straight. It's just like in real life, actually. And they enter this competition. Everybody has a whole squad. The nerd is by himself. Nobody's with him. So they have to come in the top 15 to get to the next level, the next part of the competition, right? So once they get to the competition, the nerd, he's drained. Like, he's going through everything he can do because the competition is capture the fly. And if you don't know about cybersecurity, capture the fly is like you got to do a lot of different hacking steps, and you capture certain codes and you enter a code to get the answer, and they give you points, right? So since he's running solo, he's getting drained. Everybody else getting, like, very high competition, and it's taking a lot out of him. But his buddy is really smart, right? So he like, don't worry about it. I got you. So he was able to find 100 people that they had previously had parties with and stuff like that to help him with this competition. Right. So once they get the first round of the competition was winding down, it was they was like level 50 or something like that. It was one particular question that was worth 777 points. And every single group failed this question. Everyone, even the top group, right, failed. And he's like, oh, this is so easy. This is so easy. The nerd and the smart guy was like, hold on, don't do it. Because if that's the case, why did everybody else fail it? So he stopped them. And he's like, don't answer this question first. Wait till the very last minute and come back and answer this question. So they waited to the very last hour of the whole competition. So the guy thought about it because they thought about the very first name of the group. And it had no characters in it. And the question kind of hinted at that. And make a long story short, they was able to get those points to go to the next level, right? So he actually made an even more strategic group tactic in the competition itself. He was like, okay, we need to make a huge splash so we can attract other investors to this competition so we can have leverage to this girl when we decide to negotiate again. So they get into the competition, and the guy, the girl that was part of the board, right? She had a person that worked with her that's a right hand man. He's her like secretary, right? And he don't like anybody that can get her, because she's like, if you guys win, you can have a night with me for free, right? Because she's like, my time is very valuable, and if you guys win this competition, you can have my time a whole day to yourself, right? So the guy that's really personable and smart, he come in with this really polarizing outfit to catch everybody's attention. Like, what the heck is he doing? Even his own right wing man didn't know what he was doing. So the hour before the competition started, the guy came in and he put in a man in the middle, or a honeypot router, to get everybody to jump on so he can gather all the information. So nobody knew this. Even his right hand man didn't know this, right? Because he's very straightforward. He's very honest. He has a lot of integrity about himself. So he can't hold any water. So his boy really know about that. So once they get to the competition, he waving his thing around. They're like, what the heck is he doing? He was basically waving several things around to prevent the people from connecting to the router, right? And he told his boy beforehand, like, hey, do not connect to anything. Wait a minute. I'm going to give you a heads up to connect, right? So everybody like, I can't connect. And he's like, oh, I got in pretty fine, because he waited. So everybody else jumped on to this dummy Wi-Fi, right? Didn't even know. And they was able to get connected. And the people that was part of the board sent out an email like, hey, we all going to attack this one group, which is our protagonist. So you see the competition points of the main protagonist just keep going down, like, and the crowd going crazy, like, wow, what's going on? And then at the very end of the competition, all you see is everybody else points draining, and everybody else points going to the main protagonist group. And it was dramatic, so good, right? And they're like, what happened? And they won. So they won a night with the girl, and they attracted another investor, right? So they're like, the investor like, oh my God, how they was able to do this? Like, I like those guys. I need them on my team. I need to invest in their company. So after they win, the girl didn't care. Like, damn, she just, try to honor her proposal. But her right hand man, her secretary, was pissed. Like, no, you can't have her. So he go running to the competition like, hey, they cheated. So they did strip them of their win, right? But they like, that don't matter. We technically still got what we wanted. We still got the attention we wanted. That's the only thing that really matters. I said, dang, this is getting good. I'm loving the drama. So once the competition ended, the guy that was like, I need them, he took him out to eat, and they had a whole conversation about his particular offer to their business. And his offer was way better than hers. He said, I only want a very small percentage of the business. That's all I want. I'm willing to give you $30 million for this percentage of the business. And when you guys make money, this percentage I want of the profit. And they're like, oh yes, this is a way better deal. So they took that money and started a business. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to go more into the show. The show will just continue to get better and better and better every episode. So if this now gets you hyped up for the show, I don't know what will. I just know it's a very good polarizing show that's flying under the radar. It's not on the top 10 animes every week, and I'm like, it should be. Like, if you run a really good story when it comes to anime that's different, please check out Trillion Game. So like I said, I'm gonna leave it at that. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, we are Weeble Slice, and we are out.